Zak Brown, McLaren are leading the Constructors' Championship by 207 points. You have two drivers fighting for the lead of the Drivers' Championship, and you've packed out Trafalgar Square.
This is amazing to see all these papaya fans out here. I just landed this morning, and this is really exciting and great to hold an event of this size and magnitude for all our great fans.
I mean, did you ever imagine this happening 10 years ago? F1's been through such a period of change, but to have one team doing this as well.
No, I was just talking to Martin Brundle, and it's exactly what he said. We were here, I think it was 7-8 years ago, 10 Formula One teams with a packed house, and now here is McLaren, and the waiting list is long. I hope people can get in shortly and have everyone get a great chance to experience McLaren and the Team Papaya.
Now, it seems like a great time to have this kind of event because, as I said earlier, you're doing so well in the championship. Anyone tuning into F1 this year would assume that it's always been like this for McLaren. But, of course, anyone who's watched for the last 2 or 3 years knows you guys have been on a journey. So how great is it to get to this point?
It's awesome. You know, we've been here before, so I remember McLaren dominating its eras of Formula One. But as you said, that was a long time ago. And now that we're in this, let's call it our papaya era, which kind of started in 2017, you know, all the hard work for the men and women at McLaren to put together a team, and that team is so much broader than just the racing team. It's the commercial team, as you see here, to be able to really engage with our fans, because without fans, there is no McLaren, there is no Formula One. So it's great to be here and great to be leading the various championships, as you said.
Let's just focus on the Drivers' Championship. Christian said after Austria that it's looking increasingly like a two-horse race between your two drivers. Do you feel that Max Verstappen's out of this one?
No, way too early. Unbelievable talent, of course. I don't think George Russell is out of the game. You know, we're not even halfway through the season. We see how quickly our season turned around last year. There's absolutely no reason why that can't happen with Max or the Mercedes, specifically, you know, George, because of where he is in the points, and even Ferrari. So I think we just got to keep doing what we're doing. It's great that we have a nice lead. It's great that we extended it this last weekend, but we got a lot of racing to go. So I still think you've got 4 drivers realistically in the fight for the Drivers' Championship.
If that gap does increase, if we continue on this trajectory, does that actually make it easier for you guys to let Lando and Oscar race? Because the bigger that buffer gets, perhaps more risks they can take. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I think, you know, in Austria, as you can see, we let them race. They raced each other very hard and very cleanly. That was very exciting. I think everyone's been waiting to see them really go head to head. And I think our mindset is they were always free to race. You saw that in Australia, the first race of the year. But, you know, if the gap extends, you can generally, as a team, take a little bit more risks. But we're one race at a time. Right now, we're racing for both the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship, and hopefully get our 2 guys in a position where they can fight it out in Abu Dhabi.
So what's the secret to getting 2 teammates, both fighting for a championship, their first championship? What's the secret to getting them to do it cleanly?
I think in this instance, it's the 2 drivers that we have. You know, Oscar and Lando are first-class individuals. They've got a tremendous amount of respect for each other. They've got a tremendous amount of respect for the team. They want to race fairly, equally, and may the best man win. And that's how they want to win. They don't want to have a one-car team or one supporting. And at the same time, I think they're very proud of how they race, so I don't anticipate them racing anything other than very hard, cleanly. Doesn't mean mistakes can't happen, as we've seen they have in the past, and they will in the future. But I have no doubt that they want to win it cleanly, and I'm excited for that.
On occasion, we've seen these kind of battles go beyond just the drivers to the entire team. And of course, it's important that mechanics and engineers work on each side of the garage, give their best for their driver. But how do you stop a division being sewn into the team just by the very nature of the competition?
Yeah, no, I think, of course, each respective team wants to win, but they first want to win for McLaren. You know, we're one racing team, and it feels very much like that in the way we conduct ourselves, the way they eat at the track and sleep at the hotel and debrief. So I've never felt any negative tension, if you'd like, only positive competition between the two, and I think if either car is fortunate enough to win the Drivers' Championship, I think everyone will feel like they won.
Just focus on those 2 drivers. I mean, they're quite different personalities. Lando is very open with us, the media. Oscar seems to prefer to do his talking on the track. Is there benefits to that? Is there a hindrance to that there's such different characters going into this fight?
No, I think benefits. Everyone's their own individual. I think it's great. I think that's what makes the chemistry behind them, between them, I should say, really good, right? If you get two people that are too like-minded, then maybe that's not the ideal scenario. But having the two of them having different personalities, I think makes it fun. Fun is an important part of going motor racing and being a racing team where everyone thinks is one. And I think their personalities are very complementary, and it's enjoyable working with both of them.
Now, we had that one collision in Canada, but Lando held his hands up, said that's just the way it is. You actually predicted it. You said at the start of the year it's kind of inevitable. Is it still inevitable that something will happen down the line going into this?
I don't think you can get any two racing drivers, teammates or not, who are going to be racing each other as closely as they are, whether it's for first and second or 10th and 11th. And they're all on the limit, and mistakes happen. So, it's going to happen again. It's okay. We know it. It's racing. To sit here and say, our cars are never going to touch another race car, teammate or not, is unrealistic. But that comes down to the integrity in which we race, the communication that we have, the respect we have for each other. So when it happens again, not if, it'll be, just like you saw in Montreal. We'll talk it through. Someone will put up their hand, whatever the case may be, and we move on and we go racing again. It certainly wouldn't have been anything intentional.
Now, you got two drivers signed under a long-term contract, but it's looking increasingly like Max Verstappen might be on the market going into the future. Do you have any flexibility or even desire to chase after Max?
No, I couldn't be happier with our driver lineup. I've said it from day one that I think we have the best driver lineup in Formula One. I think sitting here right now would be difficult to argue that. Factually, it's statistically true, and because of the characters they are, the talent they are on the track, off the track, I wouldn't trade our two drivers for any other drivers on the grid.
And what about the prospect of Max at Mercedes under the new regulations? That seems like quite a fearsome
that's a bit
rival.
scary. That's a bit scary. I think Mercedes is clearly on a forward trajectory. Red Bull, clearly is not at the moment, and Max is an unbelievable talent. So Max in a Mercedes is that's some pretty serious competition.
And just looking at 2026, all the teams have this balance between 2025 and 2026. How confident are you that this papaya era, as you called it earlier, can continue into next year?
Well, we're going to do everything that we can. We're going to continue doing what we're doing. It's working, so there's no need to change. It's a massive regulation change, and so that means someone could get it more right than another, and we fall into any ranges of those. But obviously I got a lot of confidence in all the men and women at McLaren and the work that's going in, that we're going to produce a really strong race car next year.
Okay, best of luck with it all, Zach. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.